Hello and welcome to this episode of the Mixtape podcast. This is where we take a deep dive into the inspirations and influences of my guest as I ask them to select 6 tracks for their imaginary mixtape. Track 1 is an attention grabber. Track 2 is a song they sing in the car or the shower. Track 3 is a cover version. For track 4, I'll ask them to pick a song they wish they could have played to their 18-year-old selves. Track 5 is a song they would use to woo someone. Track 6 is a track that my guest feels doesn't get the attention or recognition that it deserves. Track 6 is for Patreons only, so if you'd like to support the creation of this podcast, it's patreon.com/mixtape podcast, or you can check out the link in the description below. You can join for free or subscribe for as little as $2 a month. There's lots of other Patreon-only content on there, including the opportunity to ask guests a question and to have a personalised mixtape playlist curated by yours truly. There's lots of other ways you can support me, a like or a follow on social media. Again, there's links in the description for that. Or if you are listening on Spotify, you can smash the follow icon or you can rate the podcast. All of these little things go a long way towards growing the platform, and I really, really appreciate it. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome to this week's mixtape, and today I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Emily Barker. How are you, Emily?
Hey Mark, I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Very well, thanks. So I really appreciate you making the time and coming on, because researching, what you've got going on at the moment, there's a lot happening for you at the moment with the new album and stuff you've got going on. I've got like a little sort of run sheet that I use for the show because I'm a professional, and I've got a little run sheet, and I've got a section for like talking points, and that was well full up. Let's talk about the Fragile as Humans. First of all, that's your new album. It's out now, but you're launching it at Lyrics Underground. Is that right? On the 7th?
Yeah, so that's the as in Western Australian album launch is the 7th of July, but I was in the UK when it came out, which was the 3rd of May, and played at lots of record stores actually to promote, and went all over the country, sort of up as far as Liverpool or Leeds. Which one's further north? Leeds, maybe?
So tell us a little bit about the album and your songwriting and creative process, and where you recorded the album. Because I know some of your records you recorded in Nashville and other places. So yeah, tell us a little bit about the recording and writing of this record.
Yeah, so I started writing this in, I think, 2021. So it's been sort of a 3-year journey. And I wrote a lot of the songs when we weren't necessarily locked down, but as musicians, we still weren't able to tour. It hadn't come back yet. And I was sitting around a lot, and there was a lot of time for thinking. Too much time, one could say, but it was good. And therefore the album is like very personal, very introspective, and quite quiet. One of the songs is called The Quiet Ways, and the album's called Fragile as Humans, and it sort of speaks to our shared vulnerabilities and fragility, I suppose, as human beings, and collectively going through what we went through, but not only just COVID, but looking at so many other things that we're collectively experiencing right now. And it was made at a place called the Wool Hall, which is in Beckington, just outside of Frome, with a brilliant producer called Luke Potashnik. And we did quite a lot of pre-production, which I'd not really done before, but I brought the songs to him, and then we really put each line under the microscope and talked about it, and there were a few things that changed about the songs, and whether it be structurally or he would look at some of the lines and go, oh, let's dig it, can you dig a bit deeper here, things like that. So it's sort of an editor really, which I hadn't had before, which was awesome actually. I really enjoyed that critique and trusted him so implicitly. So so we made the record there in 2022, and then it got finished not until 2023. We recorded it all, and first track came out in November 2023. So it's quite a long process, but it's just how long it takes to sort of then be, once you got all the bits, then mixing it, then working out track listing and mastering it, and doing all the video and the photos and the promo and the, all of that. So
Mm.
it's great to have it out in the world now.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a fantastic record. It's one I've been listening to and enjoying quite a lot this week. I saw on your Instagram you have also got physical formats on vinyl. Where can people, have you got a Bandcamp or is it
Yeah.
emilybarker.com you can get them
Yeah.
from?
Yeah, emilybarker.com, and then that will direct you to the shop. But yeah, it's I've got them all physical products on Bandcamp, but also lots of the record stores. So
Yeah,
if you do have a local record store or one nearby, then you're visiting a certain town with one, then they might well have that in there,
okay.
especially because I
Cool.
just did a UK
Yeah,
tour, so a
yeah.
record store tour.
I saw you played at Junction Records, the Vinyl Cafe. Are they stocking the record? Can we get it there?
Yep, you can stock it there.
Well,
They stock it
awesome.
there.
I'm always trying to play up to the Perth Records horses. Midland Records sponsors the radio show, but before we started recording, they sponsor the A side. But I put it out there recently for anyone who wants to sponsor the B side because that's just recently started. And I reached out to everybody at Junction and Rhubarb and all the others. So yeah,
Oh, that's
I
so
always
cool.
I always give them a bit of a shout out, just just in case they're listening. I know some of them do,
I
especially
love
Amos
that.
at
I
Midland
love that.
Records. Yeah, yeah, no, it's good. They because they sponsor the show, the money goes to the station because it's a community radio station. That's what keeps us on air and keeps us going. So, yeah, that's really good. Shout out Junction Records and Diabolic and all those. I've had Delilah Rose on. I don't know if you know Delilah. She did a similar thing. Her record went out, and all the Perth record stores were stocking it. And yeah,
Oh,
fantastic.
that's cool.
Yeah, really good way to support your local musicians. So,
Absolutely.
lyrics, Emily, tickets for that, emilybarker.com still on the 7th?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, they are. And so very Perth that people leave things to the last minute, but I would say grab them.
You do not need to tell me about that. Let me tell
Oh,
you.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I,
yeah,
I like constantly see people or people go, oh yeah, I can't wait for your show. And I'm like, oh great, did you buy tickets? And like, not yet. I will. I was like, you better buy it pretty
yeah,
soon.
I know. I put on a fundraising gig for the station a couple of months back in Kalamunda, and there was 270 capacity, and I had Matty T. Wall, who's quite a big sort of Perth blues name, and loads of Whiskey Jack and Olive May, who you might know, they're in your sort of area and sort of genre. I had loads of amazing artists, six bands, local Kalamunda bands, Hills bands. Obviously, we were promoting it on the radio show, social media, smashing it everywhere, and it was literally like we sold more tickets in the last week, 10 days, than we did in the previous like 4 months. It was
Yeah,
insane. Like if you're
yeah.
putting on a gig, it's just like your blood pressure just going through the roof. Like
Oh, it's so
yeah,
ridiculous.
Lyrics Underground, amazing venue. I absolutely love it there. I've been there loads. Yeah, and it's one of my favourite venues in Perth. I think, other than probably Red Hill, that's my other favourite venue in Perth. Absolutely love that.
So good. The sound
Yeah,
is amazing.
yeah. Everybody I talked to who's played there, I saw Mark Wilkinson there. I don't know if you know him. He's a Eastern States singer-songwriter. I saw him there a couple of weeks back and chatted to him after the gig, and he was frothing about how good the sound was there.
Mm.
And yeah, and Rob Snarsky from Chad's Tree and Black Eyed Susans, I had him on the show and we were chatting. He was playing lyrics, and he said he always comes back there when he's back in Perth because he loves the sound. It's a great venue. I want to chat to you about Day of Dylan. How was that for you? Some cracking artists on that lineup last weekend, was it?
It was awesome. Yeah, it was so good to be invited to be part of it because it really
Mm,
made me feel, because I lived over in the UK for 21 years, it
mm,
made me feel like yeah, a WA artist to be included on that
yeah.
bill of lots of people that I'm a big fan of. Like,
Mm,
the Waifs I first
mm,
listened to when I was a teenager, and they came and played at my high school in Bridgetown, and John Butler, some of my
yeah.
first gigs were supporting him at Mojo's in Fremantle
Oh,
in
okay.
like
Yeah, yeah.
1999 or something
Oh,
like
wow.
this. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so it was cool to meet, and Lucy Peaches I love, and Luke Dux played with her, and so it was awesome. It was just great to meet people, Rick Steele, and yeah,
Yeah.
Jim
Yeah.
Fisher and these legends.
Yeah, no, it looked like a really good lineup. I was in Darwin last week for work, unfortunately, but I would have been there with bells on. That's right up my alley, sort of gigs like
Oh
that. I'm interested
yeah.
with WA artists there. And yeah, I imagine it would have been a fantastic live show. Also, talking of live shows, like I said at the top, you've got lots going on at the moment, Emily. You're in Nashville in September. Is that right? Playing a few shows there?
Yeah. Yeah, there's the Americana Fest
Mm,
happening in Nashville
yeah, yeah.
towards the end of September. So yeah, I'll be there, and I'll be doing a bunch of other US shows around it as well, and then East Coast tour in Australia. Then I come back for a couple of weeks and then go back to the UK for some touring, and then that'll
Yeah,
be it for the year. I'll
that
have
was
December.
perfect segue into the next thing I want to talk about, which is supporting King Creosote
Oh
on
yeah,
their UK dates. And I saw you got there's two dates at Union Chapel. Have you ever played there before?
I have. Yeah,
That's my favourite London venue, man. That's such a good
so
venue.
good. I
Saw
love
Ray
it.
Lamont, I saw Ray LaMontagne there, and it's one of the best gigs I've ever been to.
It's
The
it's
sound is
so
unreal.
it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I've played a few times. I did support once for Michelle Shocked there,
Mm,
which was very
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And then they had these daytime events called Daylight. It was called Daylight, and they had like a mix of a few different artists on during the day on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I headlined it for the first time in
Oh,
2012,
yeah,
and it sold out, which was
yeah,
just like a total career highlight.
yeah,
And I've headlined it twice since. So
yeah.
yeah, three times. Three
For
times.
people
Yeah.
listening who are unfamiliar with Union Chapel in Islington, it's a church in North London. It's a working church. On a Sunday, they have services there, and if you want to get a drink, you got to go like out the venue, up the stairs, and into like a sort of separate building. And there's another bar. That's where you get your drinks. And yeah, obviously it's a church, so you can't be drinking beer and stuff in there. And you're literally sitting in pews. Yeah, it's an amazing venue, and obviously being a church, the acoustics and the sound are absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, I've seen Paolo Nutini there. Yeah,
Oh, wicked.
I've seen so many good gigs there. Yeah, I just saw that on your list of tour dates, and I thought I've got to talk to you about that because yeah, that is one of my favourite venues for sure. Let's talk about your poetry as well, Emily, because you got a book of poetry or pamphlet of poetry out at the
Yeah.
moment. Let's talk about that
Yeah.
as well. It's something another string to your bow. Let's talk about your poetry. Where do you draw your inspiration for your poems?
Yeah. So I started writing maybe 5 years ago, but I've always been a fan of reading poetry and
Mm,
actually used it. I always had a poetry book next to me or two when I'm songwriting in general to just like randomly pick up and open a page and go, ah, and then I find it like is really helpful for just thinking about lyrics, or it might spark an idea or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, but started writing about 5 years ago, and just haven't stopped. I just love it. And so this is, yeah, it's coming out via this UK publisher called Broken Sleep Books. And it's a collection of, I think there's about 20 something poems, 23, something like that, maybe. And lots of them, it's called Where the Black Swans Swim. So it's very much set,
WA based. Yeah,
yeah, set here.
yeah, yeah.
Even though I wrote all the poems pretty much from the UK. So
Mm,
I'm
yeah,
sort of thinking about home and thinking
yeah,
about lots of things that I've touched on in my songwriting
yeah,
before, but looking at it from slightly different angles or like
yeah, yeah.
zooming in even further.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So when you mentioned home there, it's a question that I get asked a fair bit as well. So I'll ask it to you as well. Do you consider WA home?
I do. Yeah, especially
Yeah,
now
yeah,
I'm back.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
lived in Stroud in the UK in
yeah,
Gloucestershire
yeah,
for 13 years, and I was over in the UK in general for 21. And so Stroud has got it did feel like a home very much, and
mm,
it still does, but but here is really, you know, I'm back home
yeah, yeah.
proper.
No, same for me. People look at me funny when I speak to my English friends and family when I say Perth's home, but it's where my kids were born. It's where they go to
Ah,
school.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's where I live.
yeah, yeah.
I've lived
Where are
here
you from in the
for
UK?
Essex,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
outside London. Um,
Whereabouts?
so I grew up just outside Tilbury. I was born just outside Tilbury, and then just before I came to Australia, I was living in Southend on Sea. So I sort of gradually, like, sort of, moved further out along the Fenchurch Street line. If you're familiar with that,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So 2010, I came here, so 14 years now. Um, yeah, I haven't lost no accent,
No,
which
you haven't. You
no.
haven't.
But when I go back, it's interesting. When I go back to England and when I talk to them, they go, "Oh, you got a bit of an Aussie twang." No, I haven't, mate. Definitely not.
No, no,
No.
I can't hear it at all. I
Good.
really
Thanks for
can't.
that. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Okay, I wanted to talk to you as well because I'm right in the zone with this track of yours at the moment. If we forget to dance, mate, when I'm in that zone where you fall in love with a song and you're just smashing it on repeat and you can't stop playing it.
Oh,
That's where I am right now with that song. I've been, but sort of, obviously, when I knew you were coming on, I listened to the new record, but I thought I'd have a bit more of a deeper dive, and I went back and listened to some other stuff. And when tracks that sort of speak to you lyrically, do you know what I mean? Like they just catch you at the right time. If I'd heard that song 5 or 10 years ago, maybe it wouldn't have had the impact that it's had like this week. But I'm in that zone now where
Oh, that's
with my
cool.
partner, where we're just in that. Let's be mindful of making sure that we make time and for each other, because she's got 2 kids, I've got 2 kids, we've both got full-time jobs, we don't live together. Do you know what I mean? And it's like that we're in that
Yeah.
zone where we're really having to work hard to carve out time with each other. And I know in the song you talk about literal dancing. Do you know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
metaphorically speaking,
Yeah,
it's
you're on the
it's
money there. Yeah,
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 it's
yeah.
totally about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but saying that, she does always nag me to dance with her. Um, she she knows I've got moves, but I just never shown them. She keeps nagging me all the time, and I've said the more you go on, the less chance there is of it happening. So she
Yeah,
don't say
yeah.
nothing now. But yeah, I'm not much of a dancer, but there's probably maybe half a dozen people in the world who've seen me dance
Oh,
properly, like let loose.
that's
So
so
yeah,
funny.
so she's always on about it. But yeah, so that as well. So yeah, that I'm in that zone now where like that's why there was a delay in me letting you in the waiting room, because I thought I better turn that off because that'd be a bit embarrassing.
No, I love that. That's awesome
Been
to
on
hear.
repeat for about 15 or 20 minutes. I nearly burnt the kids' dinner because I was sitting here listening.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. That's so
Oh
cool.
yeah, yeah. I just wanted to say thanks for that amazing track. Yeah, it's a real good one. And if you listen on the radio show, then I'll be closing the show with that track tonight. Okay, let's talk about your mixtape choices, Emily. Some fantastic choices. Track one, when I make up a mixtape or play, so even like now, when I'm kicking off the radio show, I always go in with like an attention grabber, one to kick it off in fine style. So what did you pick for that, mate?
Respect by Aretha Franklin.
Yep. Doesn't get any more
Hmm.
classic than that. What
I
what
know.
what is it about that track that's just an attention grabber for you?
Oh, it's just so commanding, the lyrics and her voice. It's so powerful. It's so, you know, empowered. And I first heard her when I was a teenager, and I could not. I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away by that
Mm.
song and her voice and the power and soul music that I hadn't really heard it until I was a teenager for some reason. I just was. Oh, gobsmacked, and I actually used to listen to these songs, her album I've Never Loved a Man, on repeat after school in my bedroom, and close the door and
Yeah.
try to sing like Aretha.
Mm.
And just, I've got entirely different voice, obviously,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
but anyway, I tried, and but so it has like, but I still listen to it so much. She's just like my
Mm.
favorite singer of all time. Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up in that sort of era where, like, I was big on Motown was a big thing for me when I was a kid growing up in the sort of 80s. But also in the 80s, Aretha Franklin had that really sort of cheesy couple of pop songs she did. She did one with George Michael. I don't know, not sure if you're familiar. Oh, I knew you were waiting for me, I think it was called.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and Who's Zooming Who, I think she did, was another one of her tracks. And it was like real, like, what
COVID
is
hit.
this? Like, and then like a year or so later, when I heard Never Loved a Man and those tracks, I was like, no, that can't be the same person. Like, I had to look it up and make sure it was the same person because it was so
Right.
different. But yeah, I recently got that on vinyl. I got that on a beautiful pink and white swirl. Yeah, oh, I love it. Yeah, yeah, it's such a good album. That it's just one of those sort of, yeah. So if you got a record collection or you're into music and collecting physical formats, it's like it's a staple. Like it's a must-have.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
the must-have record for sure. Fantastic track. Great one to kick it off with, Emily. And track two is song you sing when you're on your own in the car or the shower. What did you pick for that?
Well, I just recently, this one I probably said, there's numerous, of course, for all these, but
Mm,
recently I was listening to Gillian Welch in the car, and I had Miss Ohio on that song. And just, I'm such a Gillian Welch fan as well. And this was her first album where she'd had lots of tracks with drums, and it was sort of like, oh, it felt nowhere near like Bob Dylan picking up the electric, but it did
mm,
feel like, oh, this is very different, even though it's just adding a very, very minimal, simple drum
yeah.
beat. It's just such a great, tune. It's so repetitive, and it's so sing-alongable. It's
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah,
brilliant
yeah.
tune.
No, great choice. Good sing along. Yeah, I was looking at, he's obviously a Nashville artist as well, and it rung a bell. It's the second time she's been picked on the mixtape. The person who picked her escapes me for now, but it
Yeah.
was her cover of the Radiohead track Black Star. Do you know that one? Oh,
No,
it's so good. It's
I need
such a
to
good
look that
cover.
up.
Yeah, she got picked
Yeah.
as it was picked as the track three cover version. And it's just
Cool.
her and that I can't remember the name of that guy that she always plays with.
Dave
Rawlings, is it?
Rawlings.
Yeah. It's just them two and two guitars, like in a sort of standard like sparse sort of style. Yeah, it's a great version. It's like
Mm.
Radiohead covers are like really, but no, they really like bring their own sound to it, and
Oh, I
yeah,
bet.
it's
I
a
need to write
fantastic
that
cover.
down.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think it's only a live version that's on YouTube. I'm not sure she's ever
oh, okay.
recorded it for an album, but yeah, it's a great version. That's what the mixtape's all about, spreading the great music.
Yeah.
Speaking of cover versions, track three, Emily, and I asked you to pick a cover version for your mixtape. What did you pick for that?
So this one I picked Blackbird, the Paul McCartney song, but by Brad Meldau, who is a jazz pianist or jazz
Mm,
classical experimental, yeah, pianist. And I recently, I suppose fairly recently, have gotten into his playing. He's
mm,
remarkable at sort of reharmonizing classic tunes, and he's an amazing writer himself, but just
mm.
such an incredible player, and it's yeah mesmerizing to listen to him, and like to go onto YouTube as well and watch what he can
Mm.
do with the piano. It's just
Yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not the world's biggest jazz fan, but with cover
yeah,
versions, I'm always a fan of like not just copying the original. If you're going to do that, what's the point? And yeah, he really does bring something to the song. Definitely, like obviously it's piano. There's no guitar. It's just an
yeah. No
instrument.
voice. Yeah,
Yeah.
instrumental.
I really enjoyed it. I was surprised when I read up on him a little bit first, and I was like, I'm not going to like this.
Yeah,
But yeah, I played it. Yeah, and I did actually really liked it. Yeah, it was a great choice. Yeah, and it's always a lot of discussions we have on the mixtape about what makes a good cover version, and bringing your own sound to it and putting your own stamp on it is always the number one thing that people always say what makes a good cover version. And he's certainly done that there. Fantastic track. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, track four, Emily, and track four is a song you wish you could play to your 18-year-old self, and it is the second time this person's been picked for this track.
Yeah,
Go on, go for it. Tell us your choice.
yeah. Phoebe Bridgers' Motion Sickness, and I think, I mean, that tune is so killer, but I think it's also just who she is as a
Mm,
person as well, and what an incredible role model to have for young women, I think, in particular. Just so sort of confident in being vulnerable and open and just and goofy and fun, as well as yeah, very vulnerable, like honest with her emotions, and which is I think why so many, she has a very young audience, and I think
mm,
there's a lot about heartache and confusion,
yeah.
and but also there's a power in it as well, and who she is as a person. She's just like, yeah, I won't swear. She's just like, F you, like to the shit. There we go.
You can you can swear. It's all good for the podcast. I'll leave it in, but for the A side mixtape goes out at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday night, so there's no swearing of that. But the beauty of the B side mixtape that goes out on a Saturdays is 8 till 10. So I have between 9:30 and 10. I have what I call the sweary section, where all the tracks that I really want to play that I can't normally because of the swearing, I throw them all
Yeah,
on there. Yeah, and City and Colour. Obviously, you must be familiar with City and Colour.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
got a track called "We Fucked It Up," and I love playing that. And that always goes in the sweary section. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a great
yeah,
one.
amazing.
But yeah, do you know Last Quokka? They're like a hardcore punk
Yes,
band.
I
So
do.
Trent from Last Quokka picked Phoebe Bridges as his song he wish he could play to his 18-year-old
That's
self. Yeah,
so funny
I know.
because
Yeah,
the
brilliant.
reason why I don't know him, but the reason why I said hello to Trent and got chatting to him, and we sort of know each other a little bit, but was that he works sometimes at this coffee roastery, and he had on some Phoebe Bridges shorts.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I went,
A
oh,
massive
wow,
fan. Yeah,
I
yeah,
love your shorts so
yeah.
much. I'm such a fan. And then we just stood there chatting about Phoebe Bridgers for
Mm,
ages. And he showed me this video that his girlfriend very surreptitiously took when they were at a Phoebe Bridgers show. And he's
mm,
standing behind her, and she's like holding the camera
yeah,
like this and looking up at him. And he is just, and he's a tall, big
yeah,
guy,
yeah,
like looks like he potentially like intimidate, like total
yeah,
sweetheart. He
yeah,
was
yeah,
he was bawling his eyes out, like sobbing,
mm,
sobbing to
yeah,
Phoebe Bridgers.
yeah.
And his girlfriend had taken this video of him.
He alluded to that on the podcast when I chatted to him. But Trent was really, he was an amazing guest. He came on and he was so honest, so vulnerable. He talked about his sexuality and struggles with that, and his work with Disrupt Borough Hub and
Yeah.
Greenpeace and all that stuff. Like, we had a really, really good chat. I think we had like 20 minutes booked in, and we went over 45, just chatting about all that kind of stuff. He was a really, really good guest to talk to.
I
Yeah, great
bet.
guy. Yeah, shout out Last Crocker.
Sweetheart.
Yeah, and he sent me a Last Crocker t-shirt as well after the chat. So
No,
that was
what a
going, yeah.
legend.
What a legend. Yeah, what a nice fella. Yeah, lovely fella. Okay, and track 5, Emily, and I asked you to pick a song you would put on your mixtape to let the listener know you're romantically interested. If you're trying to woo someone, what track would
Oh
you?
yeah, I don't know why I picked this one, but it came to mind. There are a few that I was thinking of, but
Mm,
this is this song Open by Rye. And I haven't followed what they've continued to do, but there's just something so like quite sexy, I think, about the sounds and the finger clicks and the I think it's the film as well. If you watch the music video, I think that really sets the scene, and it's sort of this like new, relatively new romance, and they're still figuring each other
mm,
out, and it's so beautifully shot, this film, and
mm,
the song, like, it just sounds moody and sort of lazy and intimate somehow. Yeah, it's
mm.
beautiful.
Have
Yeah.
you ever used a mixtape or a playlist or anything like that, Emily, to woo someone, or has that ever worked on you?
I definitely have. Yeah, yeah. In the past, or sort of when you're trying to figure out if you're friends, or
Yeah, 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 yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
you know that you've got a great music conversation going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, definitely. I went when I asked going back to Trent again. When I asked him that question, he said, "Yeah, I made loads up in high school, but I never had the balls to give them to anyone."
Oh, that's sweet.
He's got his pile of CDs that he's
Oh, you still
burnt
got
again.
them.
Yeah, he never give them out. Yeah, yeah, bless
Oh,
him.
that's funny.
All right, and track 6, and this is what the mixtape's all about: being introduced to tracks like this. Track 6 is something a little bit left field, obscure, that you feel doesn't get the kudos or recognition that it deserves. What did you pick for that?
So it's Saying Goodbye by an artist called Ondara, JS Ondara originally, and I think it's just on Ondara or Ondara now. And oh, he is amazing. He's got this record that I love. I have it on vinyl called American Tales,
Mm,
and he's from Africa, a Kenyan American,
mm,
and just his voice just kills me. And
yeah,
that album, it's so brilliant because it's sort of like there's so many really catchy sort of pop songs, but it's dressed in this really it's a high fidelity recording, but just sort of really lo-fi, sort of acoustic double bass and a violin, like really sparse. His voice is just soaring, and he uses his voice, like he does some ululation
mm,
sometimes, so you really get a sense of his roots. And he's just different. He's just original, I think. He's
yeah,
doing something different, saying it a bit differently,
yeah, yeah.
that song is just so super catchy and beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great track. I was drawn into that one straight away.
Oh,
Um,
great.
and I started reading up on him, and what I read was that he grew up in Kenya, and his family was too poor to buy him an instrument, so he just used to write like lyrics and poems and stuff. And he used to listen to Radiohead, Jeff Buckley, Pearl Jam, Bob Dylan. Like, that's what he was hugely into. And he won the green card lottery for America. And when he was like 20, he moved to America, just started playing coffee houses and open mics, and just started from there. And yeah,
Magic, hey?
I've got that feeling of excitement, like, when you watch the first episode of a TV show and you've got 5 seasons of it to go, and you're like, oh, this is brilliant, I'm going to love this. I've heard one song of his, and I know I've got so much more to dive into, and I can't
Yeah.
wait. I'm so excited.
Oh,
And
that's awesome. I'm so
100%,
happy.
that record is going to be the next vinyl record that I buy for sure.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Oh, it's great, and that's what the mixtape's all about, and it's the reason why I put that question in the mixtape, because for me more than anyone else, but it brings out like stuff I'd never would have heard of Ondara. Do you know what I mean? Unless you have. And I'm 58 or 59 episodes in now of the mixtape, and I've got into so much good stuff.
Oh, that's
I've been
awesome.
introduced, and the listeners obviously have been introduced to the stuff that they wouldn't have ordinarily picked up on. And I've got them all now. I've got 6 Spotify playlists. So all the track 1s, all the track 2s, all the track 3s, all the track
Yeah.
4s, they're all on Spotify playlists. So mixtapepodcast.com if you're listening and you want to check out all those playlists. There'll be individual playlists for each guest as well. So Emily's playlist will be on Spotify, plus a few of her own tracks as well. Definitely, If We Forget to Dance, that'll be on there for sure, 100%.
Awesome.
Yeah, so they're all on the Spotify account, which you can link to, like I said, through the mixtapepodcast.com. We have talked a little bit about future plans, Emily, but anything else other than the tour that you've got going on that you want to talk to us about happening soon?
What's out? Oh yeah, just a bunch of shows here and a bunch of shows elsewhere, and then a bunch of shows elsewhere again and again. And
Your new record, that's how it goes, isn't it? That's
yeah, I'm so
doesn't sell itself.
happy to be doing them and performing these songs live. And like my last record came out in lockdown. Just was so weird. And yeah, to not do any gigs and just to sit there and get some likes on Instagram or something for the new record. People were buying it, which was awesome, and writing to me and stuff, but it just you didn't get a sense that you'd like the 2 or 3 years that you'd spent making this thing was properly out in the world. So
yeah, sure, yeah, until
it was awesome to do the gigs and sing the new songs and meet people and hear their story, how they relate to the songs and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good luck with the record, Emily. I hope it goes really well for you.
Thanks so much, Mark.
No
I
problem
love
at all.
it. I love chatting to you.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic chat. I really enjoyed chatting to you. Thanks a lot, Emily, so much. Take care. See you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Mixtape Podcast. All the links that you will need are in the description below. Link to my Patreon, my guest website and social media, my social media, and the link to the Mixtape Tracks playlist as chosen by today's guest. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time.